In the vast world of American coinage, some pieces seem ordinary at first glance, coins you might find in an old jar, forgotten in a drawer, or tucked inside a decades-old wallet. But among these seemingly simple coins lies a remarkable story, one that carries history, artistry, and unexpected value. Today, we're diving into the journey of the 1962 United States 5-cent coin, a piece of American currency that many people overlook but which holds far more significance than most realize. Imagine for a moment being transported back to 1962. The United States was in the middle of a transformative era. John F. Kennedy was president, the Cold War was intensifying, and the space race was accelerating at a breathtaking pace. Everyday life was changing rapidly, with innovations, cultural shifts, and political tension shaping the atmosphere of the country. And while all of this was unfolding, millions of small 5-cent coins were being produced, coins that would someday become pieces of history. The 1962 5-cent coin is better known as the Jefferson nickel. It had already been in circulation for more than 2 decades by the time 1962 came around. Introduced in 1938, the Jefferson nickel replaced the Buffalo nickel, which had been beloved but difficult to strike consistently. Nickels from the Denver Mint carry a small D mint mark on the reverse, near Monticello. Meanwhile, nickels from the Philadelphia Mint do not carry any mint mark at all. While both versions are collectible, some collectors prefer one over the other based on rarity, condition, or striking quality. For example, certain 1962 D nickels are known for having slightly weaker strikes, meaning the details of Monticello or Jefferson might appear softer or less defined. Philadelphia nickels, on the other hand, often have more consistent and cleaner strikes. One of the most exciting aspects of collecting older coins like the 1962 nickel is the hunt for varieties, small differences in the minting process that create unique and desirable pieces. Although the 1962 nickel does not have as many dramatic varieties as some other years, there are still well-known die errors and minor variations that can add significant value. Some collectors search for nickels with die cracks, die polish lines, or even slight doubling in the lettering. These subtle imperfections occur during the minting process and make the coin unique, often drawing the attention of dedicated hobbyists. Collectors also pay great attention to the grading of a coin. A 1962 nickel may only fetch a few cents if it's heavily worn or damaged. But if it's uncirculated, meaning it never entered everyday use, it becomes a treasure. Professional grading services evaluate everything from luster and strike quality to small contact marks and surface preservation. Collectors began to realize that well-preserved coins from the early 1960s were not as common as once believed. Demand increased, and with it, so did market values. Today, that interest continues. Coin collectors around the world search for standout examples of the 1962 nickel, and the market remains strong for pieces in exceptional condition. Some are drawn to the history, others to the artistry, and many simply appreciate the idea that a coin worth only 5 cents decades ago can now fetch a surprisingly high value. It is this unexpected rise in worth that keeps the coin popular among both beginners and seasoned numismatists. Think of the countless hands this coin design passed through over the years. People used nickels to buy candy, to pay for bus fares, to make phone calls at public payphones, something nearly impossible to imagine today. They were used by teenagers buying sodas at diners, families paying for gasoline during road trips, and workers grabbing quick lunches during their busy days. The Jefferson nickel was everywhere, quietly witnessing millions of daily transactions. Yet despite its ubiquity, the 1962 version stands out because so few remain in top-tier condition. And now, after walking through the coin's rich historical background, design elements, minting details, collector appeal, and condition factors, we arrive at the moment most viewers eagerly await. What is the 1962 5-cent coin actually worth today? After all this time, after circulating through an ever-changing America, after surviving decades of wear or, in some cases, being preserved with remarkable care, what does this humble nickel command in today's collector market? Well, here is the big reveal you've been waiting for. A well-preserved 1962 Jefferson nickel, one that maintains strong detail, excellent luster, and minimal signs of wear, can reach a value of an impressive $127. Yes, you heard that right. A coin originally worth just 5 cents can now be valued at $127. For many collectors, the thrill of discovering such a valuable piece in an old jar of coins or within a forgotten collection is what makes numismatics so exciting. And this transformation from a simple 5-cent coin to a significant collectible is exactly why the 1962 nickel continues to captivate enthusiasts and treasure hunters alike. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just starting to explore the world of coins, the 1962 5-cent piece serves as a reminder that history often hides in the most ordinary places. Sometimes, all it takes is a closer look to uncover a story worth sharing, and value worth appreciating. The year was 1972, a year of cultural shifts, political tensions, and economic changes across the United States. Most people remember it for the presidential election, the Cold War environment, or the iconic music and movies of the time. But coin collectors know 1972 for something far different, something small but fascinating. A 5-cent coin struck at the Denver Mint, often referred to as the 1972 D. Jefferson nickel. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary nickel found in your pocket change. But as any collector will tell you, no coin should ever be underestimated. Sometimes the most unassuming pieces of metal hold some of the most remarkable stories. Imagine holding that little 5-gram coin in your hand, a simple alloy of copper and nickel, cool to the touch, its edges smooth, its surfaces worn from decades of circulation. Most people wouldn't think twice about it. They might lob it into a tip jar, let it roll around in a car cup holder, or leave it forgotten at the bottom of a drawer. Yet behind that everyday appearance lies a story of American history, meticulous craftsmanship, and the quirky world of minting that gives each coin, no matter how common, its own identity. Billions had been struck, handled, collected, and spent. But something about the 1972 D stands out, not because it's rare in the traditional sense, but because each coin has its own subtle connection to the era. The D mint mark itself holds a certain significance. Resting just beside Monticello on the reverse of the coin, that tiny letter indicates that the coin was born in the Denver Mint. Denver, known for its efficient coin production, handled an enormous portion of the nation's circulating coinage. In 1972, the facility struck hundreds of millions of nicks, each stamped with that bold D. The story becomes even more compelling when you consider the cultural backdrop. In 1972, the U.S. Mint was adjusting to shifting demands in production. Rising metal costs, inflation, and economic uncertainty all influenced how many coins needed to be struck. Denver was exceptionally busy that year. Nickels were particularly essential to daily commerce because vending machines, payphones, and parking meters relied heavily on them. This constant use contributed to rapid wear, and as any collector knows, heavy circulation typically means fewer well-preserved survivors. That's why finding a 1972 D in exceptional condition feels like stumbling upon something hidden in plain sight. You're not looking for a coin that was rare from the moment it was made. You're looking for one that managed to avoid 5 decades of human hands, machines, pockets, drawers, and coin rolls. Such coins exist, but they're not the kind you'll usually find lying around. And here's where the coin's value comes into the picture. While circulated 1972 D nickels are still only worth face value, high-grade examples, those preserved with remarkable clarity and minimal imperfections, can fetch significantly more. The coin we're talking about today is one of those standout pieces. It's not just any nickel, it's a 1972 D in a condition that most never survived in. The surfaces glisten with clean luster. Jefferson's profile stands clear and sharp. Monticello's architectural details appear crisp, with the steps and columns still well defined. These qualities elevate the coin, transforming a common piece into a collectible. Collectors love coins like this because they embody a perfect blend of accessibility and uniqueness. Anyone can appreciate them, whether you've been collecting for 20 years or you just stumbled into numismatics recently. Unlike ultra-rare coins that cost thousands or millions of dollars, this one sits in a sweet spot. It's special enough to value, yet still within reach for many collectors. The world of coin collecting thrives on stories like this. Whether it's a minting error, a low mintage year, or a coin preserved against all odds, collectors love to dig deeper, to learn more, to piece together the life of the coin. The 1972 D nickel may not have a dramatic tale involving misprints or rare die varieties, but it has something else, a quiet, steady significance rooted in history, design, and survival. So now, after exploring its background, understanding its design, appreciating its place in history, and recognizing why collectors value quality specimens, we arrive at the part you've been waiting for. The value. This coin, with its clean surfaces, sharp strike, and exceptional preservation, holds a current estimated value of $124. Not bad at all for a coin that started its life as a simple 5-cent piece, just another product of the Denver Mint, meant to be spent without a second thought. It's a perfect example of how numismatics teaches us to look closer, to appreciate details, and to understand that small pieces of history can carry unexpected worth. So, the next time you're sifting through change, flipping through a coin roll, or checking that forgotten jar in the garage, take a moment to look more closely. You might be holding a coin with a story, something that traveled through time, survived decades of circulation, and still has the potential to surprise you. Coins like the 1972 D nickel remind us that everyday objects can hold hidden value, historical significance, and a touch of mystery, waiting for the right collector to unlock their story.